I've been asked before to make the run, and when I watched what happened with the government shutdown, the fact that Representative Pitts actually was one of the few to sign on to that letter to actually shut down the government, I thought that was just over the top, outrageous, and I mean, I always like to. Bill's not shocked you heard me talk about step off the sidelines. I'm a big sports fan, and I always like to use those analogies. I just simply couldn't sit and watch. I mean, my last hurdle to getting into the race was my wife. I knew she'd be cool with it. She always is. My daughter's already like, whatever, Dad. I'll see you later. I'm really busy with my son. I coach a lot of his teams, and if I miss one day home, sometimes he's really bummed out. And then I thought, I shouldn't feel guilty if I'm out missing some of his life, unfortunately, over the next year, because I'm out fighting for him too. And if I could address the comment about an uphill battle, back in 2001 when I first ran, and if you remember, it was right after 9/11, and Democrats were sort of down. George Bush did a great job with that bullhorn on that rubble in New York City, and Republicans were really running high. And I just moved to the township a year and a half early. I was the first Democrat on the ballot in 41 years. On the ballot. When I showed up to the primary, the Republicans were looking at me saying, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" And we had a turnout of about 60%, 3 times the county average that year. It was an off-year election. And I hit every single door. I think people sense the energy that I have. They can feel the commitment I have. They can tell in 5 minutes, 2 minutes at the door that I'm in it for the right reason. And we had an incredible turnout and won in a landslide by 20% against 2 lifetime residents. And then I ran for state representative against Art Hershey in 2006. As far as I knew, he never had to run a TV commercial. I never saw more than maybe 2 or 3 mouthpieces. And because this man right here and myself, we ran such a great campaign, I got hit with probably a dozen mouthpieces attacking me, and for 6 weeks on TV, my daughter at the time, who was 6, 7 years old, would sit there dumbfounded looking at the attacks against me on TV. They were really scared. We came really close, got about 47% of the vote. He usually always won by 20%, like Representative Pitts does. And I think as a result, if that election would have been 2 weeks later, I think I would have won, maybe a week later. And the dirty tricks that went on at the end were just really over the top. And I feel I chased him out. I respect Representative Hershey, but he retired. He was afraid to debate me the entire year. And we came close, and I was able to win in 2008, becoming the first Democrat to win in the southern tier of Chester County in the history of the county. Yes, John.
Tom, what would you do for Berks County, which is a lot of the district now, and specifically for the city of Reading?
Okay. Well, that's a great question, John. Thank you. I mentioned my late mother in my stump speech. My mother was born and raised in the city of Reading. Her grandparents, the Himmelbergers, very German sounding name, they were farmers in Berks County. My late mother was born and raised there and spent the last 10 years of her life working at the Queen City Diner with no health insurance, by the way. And when she had a pain in her hip, it turned out to be full-blown cancer throughout her body, and she was dead 6 weeks later. But I have some connections there in Reading, and I think just that story in and of itself, the fact that my mom has that real strong tie in the city of Reading. My great aunt lived there until she died at 140 years old a few years ago. And as an attorney, I've been there in court many times over the last 15 years, and I think I'll be able to bond with the people there. And the one thing about me and my candidacy, I've been able to speak with people from all realms of life. And I know what some of those folks are going through there in the city of Reading. And I was really dismayed when Representative Pitts held an economic forum maybe a month ago. And I saw the article in the paper, and it was supposed to be that Monday, but we had some snow. I don't even know if he had the forum. But his quote in the paper, I was just really dismayed about. He actually said, I'm summarizing, I'm not going to give an exact quote here. He said, I don't want the people here in Reading. I don't think he mentioned this, but if anybody doesn't know, Reading is one of the poorest cities in the nation. They have a 40% poverty rate. And Representative Pitts was coming to speak to some desperate people that are looking for work. And he said summarizing, I don't want anybody here to think that we're coming to talk about handouts, government handouts. No matter what you think about, corporate welfare, welfare or corporate welfare, which is what really should be an issue. For him to say, I don't want people here, basically, he was using those folks to talk to his base. He's coming to the city of Reading to talk to people that in incredible poverty, just begging for help. But not for help in terms of a handout, but for help in terms of an opportunity. And if I'm a congressman going to the city of Reading, I'm not going to lecture those folks. Don't expect a handout. I'm going to go there with a positive attitude and talk about what can we do to work together, to compromise with people across the aisle, with people in the community, to find a way to get people back to work.
Would you open a congressional office in Reading?
I'm sure. I'm not even going to answer that because I would be counting my chickens before they're hatched. And right now I'm worried about getting enough votes to win this election. And once I do,
Pitch closed his about 8 years ago.
Really? Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea to me. That city, the folks in that city are going to need a lot of help, and I'd be honored and proud to be working in the city of Reading and meeting with those folks as much as I possibly could to help them out.